Man, I hope you are having a great day out there. Thank you for tuning in to the first ever #ReachingApex podcast. Been talking about this one for a while. It's something we've been working on for a while, lining up some great guests, those kind of people it takes a little bit to schedule it out. So that's in the pipeline, got those coming. Today is going to be more of an introduction, what the podcast is going to be about, what you can hope to maybe get from it. But man, we appreciate you stumbling upon us today. We know we're new, so not a lot of people have heard about it yet, but we really appreciate you coming by and spend a little time with us. Hope it pays off for you. Hope you get everything out of it that we hope you do. My name is Kyle Barker. I am the Chief Marketing Officer for Apex Marketing Team. And yes, there is a parallel there that we'll get into. This podcast is going to be a little bit different maybe than what you're used to. Hopefully that's a good thing. What we hope to do in this podcast, in these series of episodes, however long this may last, is build a relationship, a motivational relationship. Something you can turn on and know that when you leave, you know, you're going to be pumped up, you're going to be ready to go, you're ready to take on whatever's coming. So I recommend the morning, drive to work, cup of coffee, things like that. You get ready for the day, you know, tie us in there, okay? Get your mind right, and I think it's going to really pay off. That's what we're hoping for here. But what we're going to do in the podcast is we're going to take parallels from real-world, everyday things and parallel them to us and see how we can adapt some of that Apex mindset and put it into our lives. The structure of the podcast, it's going to be a little bit different. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I'm sure you do too. If you happen to get ours, then I know you got to be in there looking. But our structure is going to be a little different. Right now, we're going to do it bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks. It's the end of July now, so we'll get with another one here mid-August, and then we'll get one, of course, at the end of August. But right now, that's the plan. The length may be different every time. I'm going to try to keep it 30 minutes or less on each one of them. But when we have some of these guests on, I mean, you know, they're going to have some really valuable stuff. So we're going to make sure that we spend the right amount of time with them and then edit that down or whatever we got to do to make it where you get what you came for. Sometimes it's just going to be me talking. Now, I don't have a radio voice. I probably would have had a career in radio if I did. But I do have I don't know, I think it's kind of expensive, but a Blue Yeti X mic, I think. And I think I finally got it working. This is like the second or third time we tried to do this recording and it didn't really work out. You know, maybe we need some feedback from somebody on how to be better at recording these. But either way, this mic's supposed to make me sound a little better. So hopefully that's translating to you guys out there. Other times, you know, it won't just be me. It'll be a conversation with maybe other people from Apex, other members of the team. And then, of course, you know, those guests that I talked about over the next couple of months that we get in that really understand what it's like to push through. I'm coming to you from Tupelo, Mississippi. I don't know if you've ever been in Tupelo, Mississippi. You may have driven through here, maybe from Memphis to Birmingham, somewhere like that, and you passed through Tupelo and called it Tupelo or something like that. But what we're famous for is Elvis Presley was born here, and he definitely had the Apex mindset, right? To go from here to a world treasure and the king of rock and roll. So he would be a good one. Maybe we'll do a show on Elvis at some point. Who knows? I think the Elvis Festival in Tupelo is like in June, so we may be right past that. It's July now, so we may have to circle back to him if, you know, next year in June or something like that. But we'll keep that on the plans. We'll write that down. So the rest of the structure is kind of like how you can take part in the podcast. So when I listen to podcasts and everything, and I listen to a lot of them, you know, I really got some thoughts on it, right? I got some things I want to say. I want to take part in that conversation. So eventually, you know, we'd like to get this on YouTube, maybe do the recordings live, have a comment section, somebody moderating that. And, you know, we kind of answer those questions and we talk about it. We have some discussion there. But then, you know, I don't know. It's a long way from podcasting to what it used to be in a setting like that. But me growing up, I mean, I'm 38, but when I was younger, we had these things, you know, radios, right, that people would listen to music on. And every now and then, they would have a show where people could call in and talk. And we may do a couple podcasts where we set up the recording and we take some phone calls. How cool would that be? You could hear other people's voices and thoughts, and let's open up the topics and let's talk about the struggles. Let's be 100% real as we're doing this. So the other thing, other than taking part in like a YouTube comment and calling in when we do those, but of course subscribing so you know when our new ones come out. Hey, we get it. Everybody's busy. So you'll forget about us. It's okay. But we know. You're going to forget about us. But if you subscribe, then somebody's going to remind you about us, right? It's like your best friend reminding you that, hey, look, he or she is good for you. You should really call them, right? That moment where the friend is being the person that points you in the right direction. So if you subscribe, then Apple or Spotify, whoever you're relying on as your best friend for podcasts, is gonna nudge you a little bit and say, hey, look, Reaching Apex just came out with a new episode. I think it's really good for you. You should listen. So, subscribe to it. That's the first step. The other is share it, right? I mean, you're not the only person that, may need some motivation every now and then. You're not the only one. Your friends need some motivation. One way you could help them is just share this podcast with them. Tell them to take a listen, right? And then we're going to have a forum on our website. My biggest pet peeve is when I listen to podcasts, I can't talk to the host. I can't talk to the guests. I can't voice my opinions on it. Sure, I can share it on Facebook and put my little thoughts in the posts, right? But I don't get to interact with it. I don't get to kind of point the direction of the podcast or, talk about my thoughts on it. So we're going to give you a space to do that. ReachingApex.com. That's, of course, our company website. Reaching Apex, like you're reaching for something, and then the word apex.com. And under podcast, we're going to have a forum. Each episode will have a thread. It's going to be new, so you may be the only one there. And you can use the cricket emoji for now. But people will come. This will, I think, do well. We're gonna hope so, anyways, and rely on anybody that's hearing this to help it do well. But that forum would be cool. I think that's a good idea, and I think it's something that will help people not just comment and feedback on the show, but help each other create a kind of family of people trying to do good and try to do better for themselves. So you can read your self-help book, but you can also listen to this and go on the forum and talk to real people and get to know people and help them and get help. So cool. You got your phone out, got a computer in front of you. It's free, always will be. Sign up, become a member, reachingapex.com, and then go to the forum after the episode's over on your podcast, and let's hear your thoughts. Let's get started. Let's get into it. This first episode, we're going to talk about the Apex mindset. We're gonna lay the ground rules here. Apex mindset is the mindset that makes you persevere. You are going to push through whatever is facing you because you know, without a doubt, what is on the other side. What you're facing now is not the end. It is simply something you got to get through to get to the apex. Some quick parallels to kind of give you the feel of where this is headed. Lions are apex predators. They do a lot of hunting at night or during storms. Why is that? We're going to talk about that on an episode. And what does that mean to me? What does it mean to us? Climbing Mount Everest. What are the parallels from that? We'll talk about it. And then we're going to get into real world people, business people, athletes, role models that have this mindset. Like Elon Musk. We're going to talk about him today. If you ever wondered what is the difference between the people who achieve great things and those that don't, this is the answer. Apex mindset is the answer. That's why we chose it for a company name. That's why we use that same mindset every day we work. And why we'll only really work with clients that also have that mindset. We've tried to work with clients that have the money, right? But I don't know if I came up with this. I don't think I've ever heard it anywhere else, but I use it all the time. Feel free to use it. Feel free to tell me if somebody else used it, but you got to do it in the forum. But my term for this is a conflict of work ethic, right? We want you to do great. We want you to be the best in your field. But you just want to make sure your bills are paid, right? That's a conflict. And it never vibes well. It never feels organic. It's never seamless. It always has a lot of hiccups. So that mindset is who we, try to work with as well. If you don't have an Apex mindset, your best goal, like the highest standard you can probably set for yourself, is average. Now, average isn't bad. Average isn't below average, right? I mean, a lot of successful people, could be considered average to even more successful people. So you got to kind of change the way you see average if you adopt this mindset. And that's what we want everybody to do. And hey, have we perfected it? No. But we want to talk about it. That's why we're here. We want to get better at it. And we want everybody else to get better at it too. So money does not guarantee success. You can run out. You can waste it. Education doesn't guarantee success. I know a lot of people that have great degrees that can't find a job in that field. Race doesn't mean success. The family you're born into doesn't guarantee success. Where you're born doesn't guarantee success. The real only thing that guarantees success is that you're not going to accept anything but that. And that determination to not settle for anything less is the Apex mindset. That's it. That is the only thing that can guarantee it. Let's put it into perspective. Elon Musk, it's 1995. Now, some of you may not even been born then. And that's okay. That means you're doing the right things now. You're listening to the right kind of podcast to get you in the right mindset to do great things with your life. And so I'm glad you're here. But let me tell you about 1995. The internet's just now really starting to take off, right? Elon Musk, he sees that the internet's kind of taken off. And he wants a job with the internet company. In his case, that company is Netscape. Now, you probably don't even know who they are. But they were most famous, or are most famous, for building the first internet browser. And if you're not familiar with what that is, I'll put it in terms you might understand. Google Chrome, Apple has Safari, Microsoft has whatever they're putting on computers today. I think it's like Edge or whatever it is. But those are browsers. So Netscape built the first one, and he tries to get a job there. Elon even hangs out in the lobby of this place trying to get a job. It goes on for like a year, and it just doesn't happen. Now, while he's trying to get a job in the internet space, he gets offered other jobs. But they're not in the internet space, so he's out, right? It's not what I want to do. It's not where I see the top. So I can't waste my time there. Probably needed the money, but, I got my eyes on something. So after that year of trying to get a job in Netscape, he decides, you know what? You're not going to hire me? Guess what? I'll create my own company, Zip2, in 1996. 3 years after creating Zip2, Zip2 is bought by Compaq. He creates a company, pays his bills for 3 years, runs the company, and then sells it. That's successful, right? Hang it up, Elon. Well done. You, my friend, are a success. But that wasn't his apex. Doesn't even cross his mind. He takes the money off of that sell, and he goes out and co-founds a little thing called PayPal. Now, keep in mind, this is late 90s, early 2000s, and there was not a way to make an online payment, and PayPal enters the scene, thanks to Elon Musk being a co-founder. Now, I'm not taking away from the other guy. or girl. I don't even really know who the other co-founder was, but he creates PayPal, and then guess what? Just like his first company, 3 years later, PayPal is sold to eBay in 2002 for 1.5, and it starts with a B, billion. Gotta be the apex, right? That's gotta be it. Way to go, Elon. You just sold another company, and this time for $1 billion. Man, that's gotta be it. The tallest man-made building in the world, and I'm going to try to say this, Burj Khalifa in Dubai, stands 2,719 feet. That is the tallest man-made building in the world. If you're standing on top of that building, honestly, if you're standing on top of the Empire State Building or a really tall building, I mean, Tupelo doesn't really have any, but if you're on the top of a building, you're on the top of the world, right? Man, look at all those things down there. This is amazing. But in the end, the tallest man-made building in the world is only a 10th of the way to the top of Mount Everest, which is the tallest point in the world. So we call it a false apex, where you think you're there. But there, you're only a 10th of the way there. And Elon, he's the same way. He takes the money he makes from PayPal and reinvests it and goes on to do things that, of course, he's more famous for, the things we know him for, like Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City, Starlink, catch this name, The Boring Company, what a name. And he's even in the artificial intelligence space with Neuralink. So if you ask Elon, which people have, he actually thought that Tesla and SpaceX would fail. But he pushed through it because in his mind, he knew that using resources that were not renewable was not an end-game result. So he's going to create a whole electric car company. And the Earth may run out of supply, so we need a way to get to Mars. And I mean, you're talking about a whole nother level of a mindset, right? And he does that because he wants to see what the view is like from the very top. So that is the mindset. And when I think about Elon's story, from not being able to get a job, and then as of today, the third richest person in the world, I think of the old saying, if you can't beat them, join them. And how in his mind, he took it a step further, right? It's not if you can't beat them, join them. It's if you can't join them, beat them. And that's what we're talking about. And we'll continue to talk about on each episode. Let's put a bow on this one. And then I'll see you over in the forums on ReachingApex.com until our next episode. But here's the bow. Each day, each of us listening right now, and those that are not, have to make a decision. Now, I've tried to come up with the best way to say this, so it'll stick with us. But if you think of a better way to say this, a better way to phrase this question, go to the forums. Let's put it in there. Let's come up with a cool thing to say here. But here's the question. Now, and you want to ask this question out loud. I have the luxury. My wife and kids, they all leave in the mornings before my day really gets going, so I could take a shower. And then as I'm brushing my teeth, I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm going to ask myself this question, right? Every morning out loud, and I'm going to say my answer out loud. But here's the question. Really, it's a decision. Here's the decision. Am I average or am I apex? Now, a gazelle doesn't get to ask that question. A gazelle wakes up in the morning and he's a gazelle. A lion wakes up and he's a lion. He is an apex predator. But humans, we get that chance. We get that chance every single day to ask ourselves, am I average or am I apex? Am I the top or am I okay with, And here's the kicker. A lot of people can ask a question, even if you might sound crazy, saying it out loud if somebody were to hear you. But here's where everybody struggles. Ask yourself, am I average or am I apex? And then act accordingly. Right? Whatever your answer is, approach the day that way. Am I a lion waiting in the bushes and going to pounce on something and, man, I'm pushing through this? Or am I gazelle waiting to get pounced on? Which one am I? And then act accordingly. Now, does it mean your day is going to have zero stress? Nope. Are you guaranteed to not fail in your life or even that day? Nope. But here's what I want to leave you with. If you choose to be apex and have that mindset, the stress and failures are no longer seen as the end. They are simply just the rocks that you have to step on and climb over on your journey to the apex. Until next time, the forums are over at ReachingApex.com. Free membership, always will be. Jump over there, let us know what you think. Share this with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot for listening.